I will explain to you why more than 60% of men are lonely nowadays.
They like men who manifest signs of success, as well as being handsome and personable and all of that.
This is Jack, and something just changed about him. You see, Jack is between 18 and 24 years old, doesn't have a lot of money, to not say any, has no social proof or status, and is at the beginning of his adult life. So his resources are kinda not there yet.
Will you get this for me?
But the difference now is that his hormones are to the roof. And he's finally ready to enter the sexual marketplace. He heard that it was a mysterious place where men were able to compete against each other for the love and the attention of the most beautiful and sought-after woman in the world.
I don't care about drama, I mean, as long as it doesn't concern me.
At the beginning, he was pretty confident.
I'm getting that for sure.
But things didn't go as planned. Which is weird, since most of his friends were able to perform pretty well in the sexual marketplace. What is wrong with me? Jack started asking himself. After a bit of research, he started asking a lot more questions like why don't women choose men based on attractiveness? What is hypergamy? Why women are not able to use their sexual resources as a bargaining tool? But I'm here. My name is Klaus, and this is what I do. I explain complicated stuff through an economic lens, so you should subscribe for more. I believe that a lot of things can be explained through mathematical equations.
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
If you only have time to understand one equation, it should be supply equal demand. It's based on the law of supply and demand theory, which explains the interaction between the seller and the buyer of a certain resource.
I love that stuff. Been drinking it for years.
Basically, two laws interact together, the law of supply and the law of demand. And the interaction helped determine the market price and the volume of goods in the market. If supplier sells their good at a high price, it will drive less demand. On the other hand, if they ask for a price that the demand considers cheap, a lot of demand can be generated out of this. Coming back to Jack's problem, he wants sex.
It's 10:33.
What?
And women are the guardians of this resource. They have the luxury of having men competing for it, and as a result, women get to define the characteristics needed to access it. You can basically see these needed characteristics as the asking price. And the increasing number of men meeting these characteristics lead to a price hike. Because why would women settle for less when they know that they can get better, right? It's basic optimization.
Yahoo!
Depending on the status of the woman Jack is trying to attract, these characteristics can change, and what he needs to give in order to access this famous resource might be way more than what the average woman is asking for. What is more fascinating is that a recent study has shown that for most women, these characteristics are not physical at all. You have to demonstrate high IQ, high earning potentials, and to basically have your things together. The same study also explains that men and women have different set of criteria to choose their partners, and men are usually the ones basing their choices on attractiveness. So now Jack has a little bit more economic context around his situation. But even if he was able to find the perfect woman, he's still not safe from hypergamy.
I don't love you anymore, Jordan.
You don't love me? You don't love me anymore, huh? Well, isn't that just fucking convenient for you? Now that I'm under federal indictment with an electronic bracelet around my ankle, now you decide you don't fucking love me anymore.
No.
Is that right?
This is Ingvild Almas, and she's an economist specialized in inequalities. In 2019, she published a paper about hypergamy, which is the action of marrying or forming a sexual relationship with a person of a superior sociological or educational background. In other words, hypergamy will keep Jack in a constant loop of fighting to keep his newfound girlfriend. Based on Alma's study, women are more prone to be hypergamous for two reasons. the fertility mechanism, and the preference mechanism. The fertility mechanism states that if we agree that people get married in order to build a family structure that involves children, since men are fertile for a longer period of time, if the couple get divorced, the man will be able to re-enter the dating marketplace more easily than the woman, which means that there is more men in the dating marketplace, which is normal. Keep in mind that hypergamy is only possible because there are more available men in the dating marketplace. The preference mechanism, on the other hand, explains the asymmetry in gender preferences. Men tend to prefer mates who score higher than them in attractiveness, and women tend to prefer mates who score higher in IQ, in earning potential, and social dominance. This asymmetry means that a woman who scores 9 out of 10 in attractiveness will not necessarily get matches with a man who also scores 9 out of 10 in attractiveness. So, if the man who scores 9 out of 10 wants a mate who scores higher than him, and the woman who scores 9 out of 10 only wants a mate who can display a certain set of qualities, it means that the possibilities of matches are restrained, since there's a finite number of people with these desired characteristics. A certain group of men want a certain group of women, which let everybody else in between with no matches. These people will eventually match with each other and will wait for the best moment to improve their situation and change partners. This kind of behavior fuels hypergamy. Jack will have to consistently improve in order to keep his girlfriend, which can add a lot of pressure on the relationship, especially in a world where young men are greatly influenced by influencers who are pushing the self-improvement agenda.
You haven't done anything of note since I've seen you.
I'm currently reading a book called Erotism, Depth and Sensuality from Georges Bataille, a French philosopher. This book explains the taboos of human nature around depth and sensuality. Georges Bataille argues that humans needed to create something to justify having relationships for other reasons than reproduction, which created erotism. The sexual revolution era from the 1960s to 1970s really embodied this and allowed people to explore their sexuality. This era is characterized by the increase of birth control, swinger clubs, and social movements like free love that had the objective to separate the state from sexual matters like birth control and adultery. This era is also characterized by Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn is important because the best way to promote something or a new behavior is to have it on TV shows, music, and cinema. She became an icon, a sexual icon. All the women wanted to be like her, and all the men wanted to be with her. So she was an instrument in the acceptance of new sexual behaviors. The acceptance of new sexual behaviors definitely changed the interaction between genders because now men and women become customers of a new market, the sex industry, and have totally different ways to interact with it. So I will talk about the sexual revolution and Marilyn Monroe pretty soon. I think it's interesting to reflect on the economic impact of the sexual revolution, the asymmetry between the virtual sexual supply and the real sexual supply, and if Marilyn Monroe was a victim of capitalism.
Do I feel happy in life? If I'm generally anything, I guess I'm generally miserable.
Oh, and for Jack, let's not forget about Jack. I feel like he has a better understanding of his situation now. Will he be able to keep his newfound girlfriend or to compete in the sexual marketplace like a champ?
I'm sorry, you used my leg as a tampon!
I don't know. I'm an economics and finance channel, and this is why you subscribe. It's your boy, Klaus, and I will help you navigate the complex world of finance through amazing stories and analysis. See you on the next one.